All right, let's take a look at trapezoidal approximation for Riemann sums for definite intervals, meaning the signed area between the curve of the graph and the x-axis. Here's what our trapezoids look like when we draw 8 of them for 1 minus x squared. Now again, we have 9 total x values that we're dealing with. X naught is our first. X sub 8 would be the last when we have 8 trapezoids. You can see again that trapezoid is a good method because it tends to hug the graph of the curve better than, say, the rectangles. We can see that the base of each of these trapezoids changes, starts at -3, goes to -1.25, this one is 0, 0.75, all the way back to -3. As we talked about before, the middle bases of these trapezoids, share. Okay, they occur twice. For example, this -1.25 is the base of this trapezoid as well as the base of this triangle. Okay, and another example would be this one in the middle. This has a base of 1 for this trapezoid, or you could call it the height, but these two trapezoids share that, so it occurs twice, same as the 0.75, same for all of these. So we talked about the fact that since this occurred twice, we would end up doubling all of these bases and not doubling the ones on the ends. So keep that in mind when we come up with the summation notation formula for trapezoids. Now here's the long way of doing it. You would find the area of each individual trapezoid. Remember, the area for the trapezoid is 1/2 times the height of the trapezoid times base 1 plus base 2. Now when we talk about the height, what we're really talking about is the same as the width we determined for each rectangle, so don't be confused by this. But these orange lines are actually the height of the trapezoid, and what goes up and down are actually our bases. That's because they change, right? B1 and B2 for a trapezoid aren't the same. That's what makes it a trapezoid. So anyway, we can figure out each individual area and add all of that up to get -1.5, or we can do the shortcut, which is to realize that those bases in the middle occur twice, and then the bases on the ends only occur one time, and we can determine that, hey, they all have 1/2 times the height of each trapezoid in common, so we can pull that out as a GCF, add up all of the middle bases, multiply them by 2, then add the end bases. Whatever we get by that, we multiply by 1/2 times the height of each trapezoid. And so that's what we did for our shortcut. Here are all of the heights of the individual trapezoids. Now again, the ones in the middle right here occur twice. So if we multiply those by 2 and then add our first and last bases up, we get -6. Now, since again, all of these, each individual area formulas has a 1/2 times height in it, we can multiply the final total number of bases times 1/2 times the height of each trapezoid. So 1/2 times that 0.5, and that will give us the area of all of these trapezoids. So -6, the sum of all of our bases, times 1/2 times the height of each trapezoid, or you can call it the width, gives us -1.5, which is our approximation using the trapezoid method. Now again, that's a little off from the actual, which is -1.33 repeating. So perhaps we should increase our number of trapezoids, which is what we're going to do. Before we do that, though, I want to show you what the summation notation looks like for trapezoids and explain the component of each component of the formula for summation notation. So first of all, we said that 1/2 times the height or width of each trapezoid is what all of these have in common. Okay, in other words, we multiplied by the half of the width, or you can call it the height of each trapezoid. So we're going to include that first in our formula for summation notation for trapezoids. Now, remember, we add the first and the last base only once, so we will not be multiplying that by 2. But we will, however, multiply all of the middle bases by 2. Now, again, for this particular example, we're using 8 trapezoids. X naught is over here, and x sub 8 is over here. The only ones that we're doubling are x sub 1 through x sub 7. So our summation notation is limited to just those middle bases. Okay, and we will be multiplying those by 2, but not the ones on the left and right. So these will not be included in our summation notation since they're not going to be multiplied by 2. So we're going from 1 to 7 in this case of f of x sub I. So for example, when I equals 1, it'd be f of x sub 1. And then again, x sub 1 is negative 1.5, which will give us this first base that is doubled, since these share a common base. And so that's what's going to look like for now. We're going to break it down even more in a second, because if you notice, if you distribute this 1/2 in to our first and last, it would just be 1/2 times the height of our first base of our trapezoid plus the height of our last base. Now, when we distribute the 1/2 into this 2, it becomes a 1. So there will be no 2 left over when we multiply this 1/2 in our original trapezoid formula back into this 2 here. It just becomes 1, so our summation notation will not have a 2 once we simplify this formula out. However, we still will be multiplying everything by the height of each base, or you can call it the width of each base. In other words, this little orange section right here, which was the width of each rectangle, same thing. So here's our formula. Let's go ahead and make that a little bit more concrete. Again, this is trapezoid approximation for Riemann sums approximating a definite integral. Well, again, the height or the width of each trapezoid is still just going to be 0.5, that orange area. Now, what is f of x sub naught? X naught. Well, x naught is the very first x value, which is -2. That first base is -3. F of x sub n would be f of x sub 8. So x sub 8 is over here. That's also going to be -3 just because these are symmetrical. So it's going to be 1/2 again inside of here because of that 1/2 we distributed to begin with, of -3 plus -3. And then we're going to be adding our summation notation from 1 to 7 of f of x sub I. Now I decided to break that down a little bit more for you. Since we're going from 1 to 7, it's going to be exactly the same thing that we used for left point approximation. Or we went from 0 to 7 in that case, but we are going to be starting with, I'm sorry, it's going to be the same as right point approximation. So let's take a look at that. All right, so right point approximation went from 1 to 8, but the starting value is going to be the same because we're still going to be starting at this -1.5x value. So because of that, we're going to do exactly the same thing inside of our summation notation. It's going to be f of a plus I times change of x will give us that -1.5. The only difference is we're going from 1 to 7 since we're only doubling those middle trapezoidal bases. Okay, so instead of 1 to 8, we're going to go from 1 to 7 in our summation notation formula. But again, we're going to use the same kind of thing, f of a plus I times change in x. And since a is -2, we're going to plug in -2 for a. I is still going to be our counter. It's going to go from 1 to 7 this time. Change of x is the width of each trapezoid, which is 0.5. So this is what we're going to be plugging in to our calculator, f of a plus I times change in x. In this case, our function is 1 minus x squared. So we're going to plugging in -2 plus 0.5i in for x. So it's going to be 1 minus parentheses -2 plus 0.5i. And I put my squared wrong when this print. Okay, so this is what x is being replaced by. So this is what's going to be being squared, not the 1. Okay, so this is what's going to go to the right of our summation notation. Now let's take a look and see how to plug this into the calculator. So the first thing I'm going to plug in is this 0.5, and then I'm going to put my parentheses and go from there. All right, so 0.5 and then parentheses. Whoops, not a 1, parentheses. All right, so let's go back to, so then we're going to plug in a 1/2 followed by a second set of parentheses. Now 1/2, you can just plug in 0.5 again since it's 1/2. Now in the second set of parentheses for trapezoid, you're going to be adding your first and last height. In this case, we determined to be -3 plus -3. Okay, now, question is, what do we do after that? Well, let's take a look at the formula. We're going to be adding all of those middle bases up, which is going to be our summation notation. So I'm going to do plus, and again, for Desmos, you type in sum, and I'm going to use I as a counter just to be consistent, so I'm going to change the N to I, and again, I'm going to go from 1 to 7, gives us all those middle bases. Remember, 0 and 8 are our outside bases, or the ones that don't occur twice. Remember, the 2 went away here because we simplified the formula initially, so that was already taken care of because we distributed that 1/2. Okay, so within the summation notation, we're going to put another set of parentheses, and inside of that parentheses, we're going to be careful about what we plug in. I noticed my mistake there. This is what's being squared in these parentheses, not the 1. So we're going to type in 1 minus parentheses -2 plus 0.5i squared. All right, so it's 1 minus another set of parentheses, -2, which is our a, plus 0.5i, and outside of that parentheses is what's being squared, not the 1, but what we're plugging in for x. And there you have it. You get the -1.5. If you plugged everything in correctly, again, this is 1 minus x parentheses squared, but we're plugging in a plus our I times change in x, or change in x times I, and we're going from 1 to 7, since we're only concerned with those middle bases. We've already taken care of our initial base, which was found from x naught, and our last base, which is found f of x sub 8. It was found from x sub 8. So that's that formula plugged into the calculator, and we get -1.5 as our trapezoidal approximation using a trapezoid. Now again, we want to increase the number of trapezoids because we want to get closer to the actual area of -1.3 repeating. So if we increase the number of trapezoids, we can see how it's just amazing how close it actually hugs the curve once we increase the number of trapezoids. There's 31, 40, 50. If we go to 100 trapezoids, we can see just how close it is to the actual area. We get 1 decimal place off. We get -1.334, which is really close to the -1.3 repeating. So, as the last piece of information before we close this out, again, here's kind of a key you might want to look at again for all of our different approximation methods and what each component means in terms of summation notation. But we see again that if we increase our number of trapezoids to infinity, we equal the signed area, which is the definite integral from a to b, in this case from -2 to 2, of our function, in this case 1 minus x squared. So the limit as the number of trapezoids approaches infinity is equal to the definite integral. So you can see that the trapezoid approximation can be really confusing. You have to be really careful about plugging stuff in. I noticed as I was going through this video that I had my squared on the wrong side of the parentheses. I had it out here. I had to make sure it was just squaring what I plugged in for x. In this case, the -2 plus 0.5i, which is a plus I times x. So that's it for trapezoidal approximation using summation notation and Riemann sums. If you have any other questions about this particular lesson, let me know.